Alright, so we're back at Midnight Protocol. We're going to look at these two playground addresses here in this system. We were given the first one, the playground, we were given it to by Clover almost immediately upon completing the tutorial, and it says that it has 4 unknown ice signatures, and ice is concentrated near the financial and vault nodes. So there is a finance node, that's about it, and we know there's ice. And it says it's an old network used by Snail and Data to train Clover. You might still find a use for it as a testing ground for new programs. Now, we're just going to poke in here. Now, you notice it has a orange box around it that says virtual. And what I'm guessing that means is there will be no penalties for not being able to complete it. That would be my guess. And I'm guessing it's the same thing with the Playground 2. Playground 2 was unlocked after we completed another one of the story missions. It was the 127001. When we finished that one, then we were unlocked the Playground 2. So we're going to look at the first playground, see what happens when we goes in there. We got our normal deck at the moment. Don't have anything really fancy in our deck. So the objectives are to drain the financial node, and you can see right away that this looks quite a bit different than our other one. I mean, it doesn't look quite a bit different. I mean, it's just white instead of it's just white instead of all black like the other one was. And you can see we're here normally access node. We have a connector node that goes there that attaches to this, I believe that's a bridge node. It's unlocked at the moment. We have a data node, we have C0. I don't even see where the financial node is at the moment. And an ID left behind. I don't know what that means. Data node's up there. So that might have things that we can unlock. So I'm gonna go ahead and move to C1. Probably has ice on it. It says the data, it says that the ice is clustered around the financial node. I don't see the financial node at the moment. I do know that there is another C4 right below us. I'm gonna go ahead and run sniffer C4 just in case. Nothing there. So we're gonna go ahead and end. Trace protocol is running. So now we're gonna move to C4. And then now we have a choice between V0. I have no idea what V0 means. And we have another data node. And we don't have Cloak running at the moment. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Cloak. Get it running. And so now we are out of turns again. Hopefully at some point we will be able to get more turns. I have no idea what V0 means, but there is a ice on it. So we do have time. So SL down, Cloak 2, and now we can launch Dagger on V0, and it'll automatically launch with the maximum amount of stuff. But if you look, there's a firewall there. I don't know if the firewall will let us, even if we can even get through the firewall, no matter how much we give to, no matter how much slices we give. It's going to take us a good while to get through. Trace protocol failed, even though it had a 50% chance of running. Sniffer is still running. You know, we're down to 162. We could get through. Now there should be no penalty for failure here. So I don't know exactly what'll happen if we do. Now normally I could move back to the other node. I could try running sniffer on the data node. If I try to move to the data node and there's an ice on it, then it could kill the programs we already have running. Now I have 2 actions, but I'm gonna go ahead and end our turn and see if the trace protocol, okay, luckily the trace protocol failed again, so Dagger will run. So now we can give Dagger SL, so we can max Dagger. So now Dagger is going to do 22.5 every turn, but it's still going to take it a long time to burn through there. So I wonder if I should just go ahead and run Sniffer anyway. And it doesn't look like Dagger moved up. Yeah, it did. So I'm going to go ahead and see. I'm going to go ahead and SL down Dagger 2. I'm going to go ahead and run Sniffer again on D1. And D1 is clear to move to, so I'm going to move to D1. Dagger will keep running over there. I don't know how often it'll run. I mean, for how many turns it'll run, but we'll just let it keep running. And luckily, even with the 50% chance, we're getting really lucky with our traces. So we're going to go ahead and interface. And it's going to take us 3 turns to download that. So we don't have to sit there and wait, but I'm not going to move to F1 because it said the ice was clustered around the financial node, and this is financial node 1, which tells me that there's another financial node. Now here's the question. This is a virtual network, so even if I do drain finance 1, am I actually going to get anything out of draining it? Because it is just a virtual network. I'm gonna go ahead and end. Trace protocol was successful that time, but now Sniffer has stopped running, so I'm going to go ahead and max Sniffer. I'm going to go ahead and max Dagger, and then I'm going to move back to A0, but I'm going to take the long way around. Or am I? Or am I going to be Devil May Care? I'm going to be Devil May Care. Move to A0. There we go. So here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and end our turn. Trace protocol succeeded. So that means that on this next turn, we can just go ahead and do interface, which will nuke the trace down to 3. We don't have any slices. I could. So I'm going to go ahead and SL down cloak 2 and max Dagger just to try and get this stuff over with. I'm going to move back to D1. And that'll be the end of our turn. And then our Dagger is going to smash up against that firewall. I guess we'll find some way to get through firewalls easier at some point. I can't tell if the trace failed yet or not. So the download finished. Would you like to decrypt the contents now? Obviously I would. From data to Snail. So that's from me to one of my friends. No, seriously, Snail, don't underestimate her. I think Clover is ready. In fact, I think she's better than she gives herself credit for. I'm sending her my PXT-71. I want her to have that. About time she gets a proper terminal to work with. So we're giving our good terminal to Clover. Dagger is still running. All right, so we got it down to 49.2 now. Next turn, it'll run. So if I do... Can I just remove... I'm just going to go ahead and remove Cloak. Max Dagger. And then move back to C4. And then end. We're going to take a trace point, but Dagger is definitely going to finish off the firewall. Or I thought it was going to, but either way we can now launch. So we can do min Dagger. It's only going to take one more turn. And we can launch Cloak. Can I say Cloak max? Yes, I can. So now Cloak is running with 6 slices. And Dagger is running with 2. Nothing else I can do this turn, so I'll end. Trace failed, so we're only at 2 out of 10 so far. Firewall will be finished off now, which automatically terminates Dagger. So we can now move to V0. I want to see what this is. And so it's in a vault. Attempt to open the vault by an ID left behind. An ID left behind. So could our ID be Clover? Let's see, interface. L-O-V-E-R. It's not Clover. And that used up one of our turns. An ID left behind. So can we look at, can we look at any of our stuff that we had from before? Challenges, unaliases, Sniffer, Troll, Toll, Tunnel, Cloak, Dagger, Exit, Unalias, Alias, Data Bits. Do I have Data Bits? Snail, alright, Clover, and there it just has Clover. in her thing. So maybe Clover, I mean, I know that she goes by Clover. All right, so maybe it is just Clover. So let's just try normal Clover. Interface. Let's try normal Clover. And that's not it. So we only get, I mean, we get as many shots as we want, it looks like, but each turn it takes an action. An ID left behind. So it has to be either Data or Snail, right? I forgot who the other guy was. Data Bits. So we have Clover, Data, Snail. Clover, Data, Snail. An ID left behind. So who did get left behind other than me? Let's try one more time. Interface. Data? It's not Data. Alright, so I don't know if we're going to be able to do. We're wasting a lot of turns. Oh, we didn't need max cloak. Alright, so end. Trace protocol failed, luckily. So what else is there? Is there another data node? So if we can get to that data node, so move C4 period C4 and then period C1. Then now we have to end again. I want to get to the data nodes so that we can get clues and lore about the game. So SL down, cloak 2, and we're in dagger on, I mean not dagger, we're going to run sniffer on D0. Alright, looks like there's nothing there. So we can go ahead and move to D0. And then we can't do the interface because we're in the middle of a turn. So start our next turn, we'll do our interface. So it's going to take 3 turns to download. So we know that the financial node has probably got ice on it. So we need to go ahead and end again. Sniffer should time out now. So now I can run sniffer on F0. And there is ice there. There's hangman, which means I'm going to have to SL down cloak by 2. And going to have to dagger. Alright, it's only got 75. So I guess firewall just means that it has extra strong stuff. So that was F0. So we're a dagger on F0. Can't do much now. Once sniffer times out, then maybe we'll get something. So trace failed. So good. We're still doing pretty good. Alright, so we're already down to 52. Sniffer is still running. We're still downloading. So we might as well go ahead and end again. So the download will finish. Trace failed again. We're getting really lucky here. I don't know if it's because we're in a virtual environment. Alright, sniffer ticked. Alright, download complete. So from snail to data, Hannah's managed to impress me lately, to be honest. Yeah, I had my doubts when you brought her to me. Knobby kid playing at being a rebel. No sense of the stakes, but she's a worker. By the way, if you're wondering about her new nickname, had a chat with her about living conditions in this kind of life. Told her she couldn't expect to live in Clover anymore. She found that funny. So we know that Hannah's... so maybe Hannah is the old ID that was left behind. So maybe we should have went to D0 before going to V1. So I guess our options are to... we can max dagger. And then we're going to move back to C1. And then we're going to move back to C4. And then we have to end our turn. Now we only got 5 left, so we're going to move to V0. And then we're going to interface. Hannah. There we go. That's it. Imagine that. I can actually contribute something too. The address to my very own corner of the family's private network. Completely unregistered. Any money in it doesn't exist. Feel free to keep your rainy day funds there, guys. Clover. So I wonder what that means. Address received. Mission address. Mission added to address panel. So there, I think that's probably what the main objective here was. But then, like I said, since we're in a virtual environment, how much does Dagger still need? Dagger needs 18.3, so we'll leave Dagger running the way it is. Okay, so since we're in a virtual environment, even if we drain these financial nodes, are we going to get anything? All right, so that's gone. So now we can max Cloak. Now we're gonna move back up there. Oops. Gotta hit the period, not the comma. Move back to C4, back to C1. End our turn. Trace failed, so we still got 4 turns. And even as I found out in that other thing, even if we run out of traces, then we have like X amount of turns before we're caught. So getting the trace isn't the end of the world. Period F0. So now the question is, if we drain money from here, does it actually exist when we leave here? So interface. Now, do we want to leave leech on here, or do we just want to try draining this stuff ourselves? So let's go see what happens. If we end trace failed, so we still have 4 turns. Now, if I want to leave leech running on here, so we got 3 more interfaces we would have to do. 1, 2, end, and we'll see if trace failed again. All right, another interface. Now we have all the credits from here, but do we have any credits? That's the question. Chat, map, challenges, hardware, min-max, port scanner. So confusing. Do we have this money or not, since it is a virtual environment? Trace failed. We've already used our get out of jail free thing once. Move C4. We know that D1 is not protected. Trace failed. Move D1. Did we already? No, we haven't sniffed. So SL down. Cloak 2. Sniffer F1. Now there's another binary wall. Do I have tunnel on me at the moment? Tunnel. Circumvent ice on a connection. So I wonder if I can use tunnel. And I think tunnel can't be run while it can't be run while sniffer is running, or it can't be run while insufficient slices. Program requires at least 3. I don't think it can be run while sniffer is running anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and end. So sniffer will time out. We still got 3 turns. All right, so SL down, cloak 1. So now we have 3 slices. So tunnel F1. So we can't run tunnel while cloak is running. So we have to remove cloak and then tunnel F1. So that means we're automatic. No matter what happens, we're going to get a trace this turn. And that's going to be running for 3 turns at least. So now we can move F1. So we can interface. All right, so that got us 30 credits. I'm gonna end. Now we can't run cloak because tunnel's running. Now we could launch leech. How much would leech steal with 5 slices? That's the question. Do I even have leech? I don't have leech even on me, so it's pointless. Interface. interface. So then does exit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end. And so the trace success, 0% chance to fail. So tunnel ticked, player start a turn. All right, so now we are being interface. So now we can exit. And I think we're going to get out with just the right amount. Because from what I remember from the last one we did, at this point, if I hit end, then the trace would automatically succeed again, and then there would be a trace box up in the, I can't show you because there's no mouse. There would be a trace box up in the upper right hand corner that would start ticking down. So I'm going to go ahead and exit. Ooh, we can't exit because that count. I thought, all right, so if I do end, so there we go. GPS trace detected, and you can see that those 3 boxes there tell us that there is. It's going to take 3 turns for that trace to finish. So when you are done, when you're doing a mission, if you run out of trace up at the top, that trace box that counts that up there, then the GPS trace starts. And then you have 3 more turns. I'm guessing. I guess you have 3 more grace turns. But we have drained. We've completed all the objectives, so now we can exit. Abort connection. Virtual missions can be replayed at any time. So then here's the question. So we did get 300 credits, and it said virtual missions can be replayed at any time. So then the question is, can I just constantly replay that mission and get 300 credits? I'm going to guess no, and it's saying that I got 300 credits, but let's see what happens when I end this mission. Press enter to finish it off, and then we will go back out here. We have new programs available on the black market, and you see we only have 215 credits. So even though we did all that stuff and drained that stuff, we didn't really gain anything. So the playground is just that. It's a playground. We didn't get any reputation for completing it. I don't think we would have lost any reputation for losing it. We did get some information. We found out that Clover's previous name was Hannah. So, and we also learned that when we're going through these missions, we should probably do them in order, since there was a in numerical order by the nodes. And so we didn't get any money, but we did unlock a new program. So, and this is called Hive. Use on a node to infect it with Hive. Max 10 nodes. Use on a connection with ice to do 15 damage on 8 slices, an additional 15 damage on 8 slices per infected node. Basically an interconnected virus, like a hive mind of sorts. So it looks like this can do more damage based on the more systems you have it installed on. Unfortunately, we are running low on money, but we do have Treasure Island. Hidden offshore network set up by the Varga family a long time ago. Outdated security was bypassed within seconds. See, it has a finance node. Large number of financial nodes. Very short trace. No ice detected. So how could we move around in there and loot as much as we want? And we still have the Playground 2 to look at. And that has 6 ice, an unknown node signature, a sysop, and there's ice concentrated around the financial nodes. It has a trace 10, it has a long trace, it has a sysop, and we don't know what that means. Well, actually, we do know it. We know that a sysop is a system operator. So basically, right now we've just been fighting the programs that are left behind on the network, like Hangman and Scorpion. They're just programs running on the network. A sysop would be an actual person, I'm assuming, or maybe an AI of some sort, that would be on our target network that is watching what we're doing and actively fighting back instead of just relying on the programs that are there. So we're already at the 24 mark for going through the playground. We learned a little bit more about Clover. Found out that Clover was previously named Hannah, and now we know what the playground nodes are. And we have another playground node we can play around if we want to. And then we have Treasure Island, which is a loot run, which sounds fun, which we will get to in one of our next videos. Thank you for watching so far. And if you've been watching this, please like or subscribe, and I will see you soon.